Simpsons are a lovable family TV show, but they are often notorious for predicting the future, and today we're going to be seeing how they predict the future. And it's a bit unsettling because some of the stuff they have predicted a couple of years ago for specific years have happened in those specific years. It's almost like the TV show The Simpsons is a anchor being for our reality, if you really think about it that way. And it kind of makes sense as well, because there's just so many things that have happened like that you can't ignore what's really been shown. Or maybe it's not even like an anchor being thing. Maybe it's like, a warning to the people who watch the show, or people, the generic public, of what's about to conspire, what's about to happen for the people who actually control the world. Who knows? I don't know. Do you know? If you do know, comment down below. But let's check out how The Simpsons predict the future.
There is a conspiracy theory out there so ridiculous that it might just be true.
Right.
Well, you see, for the past 3 decades, there's been a source of predictions with regards to world events that has somehow just been able to get it right.
Exactly.
From predicting the result of the 2020 election with Donald Trump to the Disney-Fox merger, The Simpsons have gotten it eerily accurate, with most of the predictions happening almost a full decade later.
The Simpsons predicting the future.
Have you ever wondered how The Simpsons can predict the future?
The Simpsons predicted the future.
The Simpsons predicted
3 times The Simpsons predicted the future.
How about the Simpsons?
Right.
They predicted
How the Simpsons predict the future.
It doesn't stop.
It's like a common question everyone's been wondering, but no one's been able to get the answer to it, which gets us to ask even more questions. Like, what's the real iceberg behind all of this,
There, and internet conspiracists have been going wild with claims that The Simpsons is a medium used by the ruling elite of the world to tell us about what is coming.
Exactly, literally what I just said earlier in the video, in the beginning of the video. And to be fair, that is a very, very, very plausible theory, especially in the day we're living in, the day and age we're living in right now.
Because it is part of their plot to control the world through predictive programming. Or how about the fact that the show's creator is a Freemason or a time traveler sent back to warn us about the...
Okay, now, you know what, maybe, I don't know, maybe. But the entire Freemason thing is a bit like, it's a bit like hard to know exactly what the entire thing is about. Let's search it up real quick. What is the Freemason Society? Okay. It's the world's oldest and largest fraternal organization, with members organized into a local group called lodges that teaches moral, intellect, and spiritual lessons through secret rituals and symbols aiming to improve character and benefit communities. While historically for men, some groups now include women. Members must believe in supreme being, but it's not a religion and politics are not discussed in lodges. Makes sense.
Future. Truth be told, it was getting kind of crazy. But the one question that still remained was the prediction.
Oh, that's...
How are they doing it? I couldn't help but think that there's definitely a logical explanation behind all of this. So I scoured the internet to find answers. And after looking at all the data, some of these predictions are surface level, but others are alarmingly sophisticated.
Right.
And one narrative seemed to be left out of the public eye, left out entirely. But it was also the one narrative that seemed to stand up.
Even this thing with the, it's a way they tell us what's coming. Let's keep watching.
Maybe, just maybe, what we thought about our mind and reality works together to warp our perception of what we think is real. For many years, people have been asking the same question over and over again. And it seems like they've come up with the simplest explanation, based on a quote by Matt Zoremski, an assistant math professor at the University of Albany. Basically, it's just a numbers game, and this is how they're spinning it. The Simpsons is one of the longest running shows
that is true.
of all time, with over 29 seasons and 120,000 jokes. It comes down to 8.54 jokes per minute.
That's
and
crazy.
With that amount of content, coincidences were bound to happen. But that felt off. with some of the predictions being so precise with vivid details. A mere coincidence was just not cutting it. Maybe now is a good time to talk about what predictions actually count.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
if we take a deeper look, we can actually classify them into coincidences and predictions. Stuff that can be explained by coincidence and stuff that just baffles us. Because a prediction like this, which was an episode released in 1996, where Bart holds up a brochure showing New York on $9 a day, with what looks like the World Trade Center in the background that kind of resembles 911.
Oh my god, and it's also like 9/like 9/11. That's
It's a
crazy.
bit of a stretch when you say is proof that deep state masterminds knew of 9/11 5 years in advance. Is
What?
very different from a prediction like this. But we'll get back to that later. Well, you see, if we really want to go with the numbers explanation, The Simpsons definitely was a long-running show with over 745 episodes. But it certainly was not the only one, because there was another show that had a similar number of episodes, but very varied results when it came to the prediction department.
Right.
While Star Trek ran for a total of 875 episodes and was able to get 11 predictions right that could be written off as skeptical coincidences, The Simpsons, for a total of 745 episodes, had 43 undisputable accurate predictions. They were not just statistically predicting at this point, because the accuracy was on point, as if they knew something. And it goes even deeper because even within the realm of Simpsons predictions, there are some I would classify as B-list predictions. From Lady Gaga's Super Bowl performance
That's a crazy performance right there, man. Flames coming out of her tits.
to Donald Trump's campaign to run for office, the FIFA corruption scandal, Ebola outbreak, and NSA spying scandal.
I don't know if you guys should be talking so loud. No, Lisa, it's not like the government is listening to everybody's conversation.
And even more recently, the dubious Paris Olympics opening performance. There are things that were too accurate to be a coincidence. But then there were the A-list predictions. In episode 2, season 10 of The Simpsons, titled The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, it told the story of how Homer was inspired by the work of Thomas Edison and wanted to do something great in his own right and got to inventing. Frankly, it was ranked as one of the worst episodes in the history of Simpsons television. But everything would change in the year 2012. Well, you see, in that year, the Higgs-boson particle, or God particle,
I remember
found.
that.
The equation that predicted the mass of a particle looked like this. And for whatever reason, it looked exactly the same as this scene from the season 10 episode. Except that this episode was released in 1998, a whole 14 years before the God particle was found. And what's more interesting, the equation in the Simpsons episode was only off by about this amount. No doubt luck may play a part in this, but there is no way that a numbers game can come up with that.
Right.
How were they doing it? The accuracy, I don't get it.
No,
And it just doesn't.
well, I was hoping this video would really answer that question. How are they doing it? Like, I'm not someone who's like, all about time travel and all that stuff, right? Like, it's very cool. I'd love to believe it, but there's never been like real accurate data proving that time travel exists in our day and age, right? But we don't know that it hasn't happened. We don't know that if it's happened or not. We don't know if it's actually really ever happened, because the government is so good at hiding the shit that it just makes it as good as like not as good as like not knowing it. Like for all I know, because I'm a Simpsons fan, right? You can even see the Homo poster there. They could be hearing shit through that as well. I don't know.
It makes sense. How are they looking into the future? It seems like every other day there is news about a decade-old Simpsons prediction that just came true. Could the theories possibly be true? Was the time-traveling creator of the show trying to warn us of some impending doom? Or was the ruling elite trying to control the world?
That's terrifying.
That is where I came across this man. In 2013,
That's a sick haircut, man.
Simon Singh wrote a book called Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets. Despite being known for that book, he's actually very gifted in other ways, being a theoretical and particle physicist that contributed to other discoveries at CERN, where the Higgs boson was discovered. Well, you see, in the course of writing his book, to find the answer to these strange phenomena and predictions, he went straight to the source, the writer for the particular episode in question, a man by the name of David Cohen. David Samuel Cohen, better known as David X. Cohen, had a degree in physics and then did a master's degree in computer science at Harvard, and then had published papers in the mathematical journals. So he was a smart guy, and he loved math and physics, but realized that he loved writing more, which led him to write for The Simpsons. Well, you see, during the writing of that episode, he had the idea of putting an equation on the blackboard, so he called up his old school friend, David Sheminovich. Being part of a teenage gang of computer programmers called the Glitch Masters at Harvard, both of them were pretty tight and pretty academic. So when it came time to write the episode, David Sheminovich, now a professor at Columbia, was able to give an equation for the episode that was not only somewhat accurate, but within the ballpark of the mass that was discovered in 2012. And well, we all might think that it's accurate, but according to the man himself, an answer with this much of an error might seem very insignificant to us, but to the people who know their stuff, that is a very, very big difference. Well, that explains one instance. But how about the other 30 predictions? That's when I came across this video.
So I'm really thrilled today to have our distinguished panel members with us. They are award-winning writers and producers of The Simpsons, Futurama, The Big Bang Theory, and other shows. Our panelists also hold an impressive array of degrees in mathematics, computer science, and philosophy, among others.
But the other thing is you could assemble a panel of other kinds of nerds from The Simpsons as well. Like there are millions of jokes about the presidents of the United States. For example, I'm looking at Patrick Verone, who's a presidential scholar. But you happen to have picked this group of nerds, but really there's a lot of people with different interests, and they're all trying to cram all this stuff in. And that's one of the things that makes the show great, is that there's so many specific references to whatever the writer's peculiar interests are. So you got the math people today, but this same panel could be going on in thousands of locations at the same time on different subjects.
The University of Pennsylvania assembled together a panel of distinguished members, award-winning writers, and producers of The Simpsons.
Right,
But
because
that was not all they were. It appeared that these writers also held an impressive array of degree in mathematics, computer science, philosophy, among others.
so they were like just a bunch of scholars. We didn't want to do what they got the degree in and wanted to write. And we're just geeking about it, and we're just really extra smart people.
As compared to writers from other television shows, this team of writers were highly educated. And just like the example of David, these writers were really connected to those on the cutting edge. And the theory seems to line up too. Because if we were to cross-reference the time period in which these writers worked on the show to the accurate predictions that popped up, we start to see a pattern that could end this once and for all.
I don't see it though,
The
man.
writers could have come up with any random bunch of symbols when math was involved in the show, but they put a whole lot of thought into it and wanted to get it right or at least make it plausible. Not only so that it becomes more fun for the audience to watch, but it becomes more fun for the writers themselves. It was the writers playing the long game, putting a small detail that had been thoughtfully crafted into the show, knowing that it would only run its course a decade later. Maybe another explanation for all of this is that the writers were just well connected and took the time to stop and look around and make fun of something not in the public eye. Isn't that what good satire writing is all about?
I mean, it is, but like, how does it explain like so many different things? Like, for example, Trump coming back into office. How does it explain that? Where's the math behind that? Like, how do you add that up? Like, what is the equation behind that? Because that way, if they were if they were so kind enough to share that equation, we could predict who could be the presidents in the next couple of years or whatnot, right? Like, how did they predict that?
Time travelers, after all. Going through the research for this video, I really wanted to gravitate towards the unknown and believe in the actual conspiracy. And thinking back, it is scary how our human minds tend to overcomplicate things and see things that are not there.
That is true.
What we thought as predictions were
Ask all the women I've spoken to.
just educated guesses and coincidences. Maybe it's true then. Maybe sometimes the simplest explanation is the actual explanation. So, are we ready to put this conspiracy to bed once and for all? But then again, who knows? Maybe this whole video was just a diversion from the actual truth, and we've been puppets manipulated by the media this whole time.
Maybe, yeah. Like, what if they, like, here's an interesting theory for you lot. What if they don't predict the future, but what if they create the future, predictive programming, anchor beings of our universe? Or what if, here's another theory for you. What if all of you, me, you, the person behind the screen watching this video right now, you might be sitting on the toilet right now, you might be sitting on your bed, you might be sitting on, eating something right now and watching my video. What if you and I, right, are actors and the world is a stage and we all are actors run by bad actors? Make sense? Or like, what if the government show, running the TV shows and everything and showing us what they're up to? Because that makes sense as well, right? Because at the end of the day, right, coincidences are not a thing. There are no things as coincidences. Sure, sometimes things may work out for you, but they worked out for a specific reason. Coincidences don't exist. And once like someone realizes that, the world makes a lot more sense. Yeah, and like this is also like adding more questions to my brain than it actually answered. Like, is this why like the Simpsons has never been like the Simpsons have never been cancelled as a TV show? Is that one of the reasons why, or is it all just simple predictive programming? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this entire thing. Let me know. Leave a like. Comment down below what you guys think. Is it predictive programming? Is it a prediction? Is there a script? Is this all a diversion? Is this like a freaking Truman Show? Comment down below what you guys think. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.